Hi guys, Dr. Wendy Dearborn here, and welcome to the Laws of Attraction in Action. Well, guys, I truly hope that you guys can hear me out there. And once again, welcome. You are with the Laws of Attraction in Action, and this is our monthly book review. And this is done as a webinar. This is done as a webinar. So I hope that you will enjoy this. The book that we are before I go into all that, the book that we are actually going to be reviewing is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D Wattles. This is an absolutely awesome book. And as I said, it has literally changed my life. So it's called The Science of Getting Rich. Wallace D Wattles is the author. And this book has been around for ages. So just a little bit about me. My name is Dr. Wendy Dearborn. I'm your facilitator. I'm an author, educator, and I'm a coach. I am the founder of Adassa James Institute, Inc. I'm the executive producer of My Life, My Choice internet radio show. And I'm answering the question, what am I wanting for my life in this moment? Most important, find out what it is that you are wanting in your life, which is most important to me, and support you by providing the tools so you can get it. That's what I do, and that's what I'm jazzed about doing. So guys, for the next 60 minutes, maybe less, maybe slightly longer, for the next 60 minutes, I want you to stay present. I want you to close everything out for the next 60 minutes. Jot down anything that resonates with you, jot down questions, and at the end, we're going to share experiences. If anybody has any to share, your experiences and your thoughts about the science of getting rich. And I have here, you can follow up with me at Dr. Wendy Dearborn at itsmylifemychoice.com or Dr. Wendy Dearborn at the Laws of Attraction in Action.com. Okay, guys, so what we'll actually be exploring today are the theories that have been presented in The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D Wattles. Chapters, we're going to look at the chapters, some of the chapters, important keys, and of course, overall general observations. So is there a science to getting rich? Okay, guys, is there really a science to getting rich? I actually believe there is. And if I had thoughts about this before reading this book, The Science of Getting Rich has definitely clarified that for me. And as we go into chapter 1, there are a couple of things that I would like you to just bear in mind. There is no competition. I think one of the biggest things that people get wrong in their life is that we are competing. There is absolutely no competition. If you are in competition, that means you are competing for something that somebody already has. We should be in creation. That's the only thing that we should be on. There is no competition with God. And what I mean by this is the manipulation or trying to manipulate God through the power of your spoken word, through prayer, to get God or your chosen deity to do what it is that you want him or her to do. There is no competition with others, and there is no competition with self. There are many people who compete against self and come up short. So there's no competition. The other thing that I would truly want you to remember is that within the universe, within life, within nature, within the spirit, no two things can occupy the same space. So therefore, when you are asking and wanting something to be created, what that literally means is that what you want will be created from substance that is there for you. If you pass and you see somebody else's home and you like this home, you love this home, you want this home, the idea is no, that you would like a home like this and or better. So no two things can occupy the same space. The universal creator, known to me as God or whomever your chosen deity, is an equal opportunist. Understand that in the book, The Science of Getting Rich, it doesn't matter where you live. Money is frequency. Money is energy. Riches is energy. So you could live in a space in the world that doesn't deal in pounds and pence, dollars and cents, yen, yen, I said yen, guilders, francs, pesos. It doesn't, rupees, they don't deal like that. They may deal in livestock. They may deal in grain or vegetables or rice or whatever it is. It's still the frequency of money and it has the same impact. So guys, that being said, understand that this is all relative, all relative. No matter where you are, money is frequency. Frequency can be sheep, it can be cows, it can be wheat, it can be rupees, it can be dollars, it can be cents, it can be anything. Okay? So as we move forward, Mr. Wattles says that in order for you to live the life that you have basically been destined to live, you actually need the frequency of money to do that. He says you need the frequency of money to do that so that you are not, absolutely not, worried about how you're going to keep body and soul together, how you're going to provide for self, how you're going to do all those things. And so he speaks about that. And this is what this book is all about. You being and showing up to your highest potential. And your highest potential is always growing because it's the nature of man to always grow, to always evolve. So, okay, guys, moving to chapter 1, the right to be rich. Do you have the right to be rich? Do you have the right to be rich? Well, as I just said, riches it's all relative. It's absolutely all relative. But once again, the accumulation of wealth too is relative, but the accumulation of wealth is important. The object of life is to live. And the object of living is to be all that you can to ensure that you are maintaining a harmonious connection between your mind, your body, and your spiritual self. As the author stated, and he really did, we have a tendency just to focus on the body and then the mind, and then lastly, the spiritual self. The primary takes place, and that's sort of like focusing on the body, because we live our life truly based on external factors. So do you have the right to be rich? In order for you to live to your highest potential, as I've just said, and you set the yardstick, that's a self-imposed yardstick that you set to say whether or not, what's your highest potential. But whatever it is, you need money or the equivalent to do so. You need the frequency of money. And you need that so that you are free to create and pursue whatever makes your heart sing. It's not about being weighed down or by the impression of lack or limitation. And when I say that, you need to have money so that you can take care of the necessary things like your bills, your taxes, things that come up in life, buying food, doing things that the small mundane things that can sometimes create these mega storms in our lives. Mr. Wattles speaks more life to all and less to none. So in order, and that's something that he says, that's a quote from his book. So in order for you to have more life, you cannot be bogged down by the lack of it. You see, bottom line about this book as well is it's all about cause and effect, or action and reaction, choice or not to choose. It's all about that. And you can't have more life if you are bogged down by lack of it. You can only get what you put out. This means you cannot give what you don't have. And it's simple as that. If you don't have something, you cannot give it. So if you want more life, that's what you have to pursue. The key here is expression. This is all about you and your individual expression, and your right to be rich is about the expression of your soul purpose. Money allows you to authentically be who you came here to be. And money will allow you to show up how it is that you need to show up in life. So settling for less doesn't help you. Your desire for the possibilities, seeking authentic expression. This is who you are. It's your desires, and it's about the possibilities, and it's about you actually seeking authentic expression. And also, as he says in the book, or seeking function, seeking performance, function, seeking performance. In chapter 2, Mr. Wattles, he speaks about, is there a science to getting rich? So the first question was, do you have the right to be rich? Is there a science to getting rich? I really do believe that there is a science to getting rich. Actually, if I didn't actually believe that, I wouldn't be doing this kind of spinning my wheels. Some people are able to create money and wealth over and over again, and they accumulate it and accumulate it and accumulate it. And I'm not actually speaking about people who actually make wealth and they lose it and make it back. I'm talking about people who make money and continue to make money and more money and more money. You see, being rich isn't about your external environment. It's about your internal environment. And Mr. Wallace points out, Mr. Wattles points out that Mr. Wattles points out that two people, and this is really important, two people can actually be in the same business, or two people can get rich. Wait, let me back that up. Sorry, guys. Mr. Wattles points out that two people can do the same thing, and one can get rich and the other struggles to pay their bills. Two people can sing really well. They are both amazing. They both have equal amounts of talent, yet one will not make it and the other will. Two merchants can actually, own a pizzeria. And the bottom line is they are in the business of selling pizzas. One merchant becomes rich and the other doesn't. Now, lack has totally and absolutely nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with it, because it's all about cause and effect. Everyone comes here into this life or is born with talents. Everyone. And if there's something that you don't have a talent for, but you're passionate about, you can learn it. You can learn to do it. The understanding of talent or the how-tos in life comes from the same source that created you, the same source that gave you your other talents, the same source that supplies your abundance. It comes from source known to you as God, or whomever your chosen deity is, known to me as God. It comes to you via God. If you didn't know how to sing, or you didn't know how to cook or farm, or whatever it is, you can tap into source. You can tap into that which created all to get the information that you need. So what role does cause and effect play? What role does cause and effect play within this science, within the science of getting rich? Well, the role that cause and effect plays in this is I was going to say fairly simple, but I'm not going to say that. Cause and effect, or cause or like action produces like effects or like reaction. Okay, so like cause or like action produces like effects or like reaction. The nuance here, and the nuance here is in the word like. Like cause, the same, similar cause or action produces like, similar, the same effects. The nuance is in the word. And that's something that's really important. Many things get lost in the shuffle between the nuances. And the nuance in this word is like. Like causes produce like effects. So the key here in chapter 2 is simple. Doing things in a certain way. The key here to chapter 2 is simple. Doing things in a certain way. The difference between you being rich or not is the way in which you are doing what you are doing. That is vitally important. Vitally important. Okay, what is the science to getting rich? So here we go. What is the science to getting rich? Well, the science to getting rich is all about opportunities, and opportunities that you may choose to monopolize. Mr. Wallace speaks about the railroad and, how the reader of that time could turn to the electric transportation or aerial transportation. He also spoke of farming. The one thing I feel it's important to point out is that he isn't suggesting, as some people have assumed he was teaching, and teach as a coaching model, that you should figure out the next hottest thing and jump on it and keep rolling like that. That's not what this book is talking about. And I do know that there are coaches out there that teach this. They don't talk to you about finding out what your passion is. They tell you, well, hey, the next hottest thing is, the cell phone. So you need to go and create a cell phone and sell it because people are buying it. That's not what he's talking about. What he is suggesting is aligning your talents, the talents that you feel that you have, with the industries that are up and coming. So your talent might be a chef. And in today's world that is definitely digital, you may want to align your talent with that digital world, but you align it in something that flows right to you. It has to feel right. So for you, putting your cooking videos, putting your cooking techniques, etc., on videos, on YouTube or Vimeo, what have you, or on your website might not work for you, but those are digital outlets. But as a chef, you decide you want to create an app so that people can order from you customized meals that they can have delivered to their home at any time that is special, any time specified by them. This is what Mr. Wattles means about taking advantage of the current trends. And that's what he's talking about. Everything comes from source. Absolutely everything comes from source, or everything comes from God. And the source is living. God is a living, breathing, thinking, intelligent entity. The human body is a testament to that, because we are the embodiment of that. Within your body, you actually have gold, and you can do your due diligence. You have gold, you have copper, you have iron, you have magnesium. That's all within you. You also have electricity, you have water, you have stones, You have dust, which is what that will boil, that will break up into. Ironically, almost everything in nature you will find within the human form. And Mr. Wattles suggests at the beginning of the book that some of the things that he is saying that you take on faith. And my thing to you is take some of this on faith. As he mentions, you know, electricity works. You don't question it, it works. Water quenches your thirst. You don't question it, it works. And some things just work. And my thing is, if this isn't for you, what I'm saying to you is that's good. Go away, do your own due diligence and find out what works for you. Now, science refers to the system of acquiring knowledge. Science has acquired the knowledge that everything is energy, everything is vibrating and or oscillating at different rates. It moves with ease into form, and it moves with ease out of form. Everything that actually vibrates or oscillates fast, it's very difficult for the eye to see until you cannot see it. It's less physical. The form is less physical. The more it vibrates, the lower the vibration, the slower the vibration, the easier it is for you to see until it manifests into something like something like a mountain. Slow moving things, fast moving things, they are all energy. They are all moving things. Slow moving, fast moving, they are all moving things. And at the end of the day, whichever way you slice it, the universal source, the creator of all things that is infinite, is also a vibrating, oscillating frequency of energy. And this energy is waiting with your supply to move what you want that is dictated by your thoughts into form and or out of form. You see, your supply and your abundance, your riches are limitless because God, your chosen deity, whomever your chosen deity is, your God, my God, is limitless. So the difference between the visible and invisible form, the visible form, which is what is vibrating and oscillating at a slower, lower rate, is that it has a sell-by date. There's a date when that will come to an end. The invisible form is limitless. It's infinite. It's absolutely infinite because that has yet to come into form. That is still with the universal creator, known to me as God or whomever your chosen deity is. The key here is opportunities are created by our personal and collective desire to evolve past where we find ourselves now. This is the life force seeking function through form within you. So you are literally opportunities that come your way. That is what is truthfully going to assist and support you in, amongst other things here, in moving, in us evolving. We're always evolving. We're always moving forward. So anyway, chapter 4 is the principle, the first principle in the science of getting rich. And I have here, how do we start the process of getting rich? Thoughts become things. The intelligent source responds to our thoughts, and the key here is truth. And this is starting to get into the meat and gravy of this book. How do we start the process of getting rich? It's with the total recognition and embracing that our thoughts become things. And for those of you who do know me, those of you who don't, I truly subscribe to the fact that if you look around you in your life at this present moment, you can see evidence of that. All you need to do is take a trip down memory lane. You can look at some pictures of back in the day, depending on how old you were or how old you are. You can look back in the day and you can literally say, oh, dear, dear me, what was I thinking? I thought I looked good, what I was thinking. And that shows you the evolution of self, actually. Anything that you have purchased, like clothing, electronic, food, etc., it starts out with a thought. Whatever you ate today and have eaten or you are going to eat began as a thought. And however you came by it, the end image started in your mind. It started as a thought. So the thought that I want an apple starts in your mind as a thought. And there are so many things that go with that. But the end result is you wind up eating an apple. Everything as a thought. Everything is a thought. And however you come by it, that's anything in your life. It has to start in your mind. Everything happens in life, in your life, in my life, starts out as a thought. And then it is a thought that has to be chosen. We live in a thought world. We're thinking beings. We are intelligent beings for the most part. We're intelligent. The universal intelligence known to me as God or your God, your chosen God, whatever phrase you choose to use for your deity, is a thinking, responsive being, energy, entity. The first principle in the science of getting rich is that you have to think for yourself. You are created as a thinking being, a thinking being. You have the ability to think for self. And the very first principle in the science of getting rich is you must think for yourself and not what somebody else tells you to think. You must think for yourself and you must think your truth, irrespective of what's going on around you. Now, as he says in the book, it's hard work, especially if the truth is contrary to the appearances of what you were wanting. Like zeroing your bank balance, and you're trying to create the semblance of, I see within my bank balance, $1 million. When the truth is, you are actually rich. And we're not told that. The truth is you are rich because you have access to riches. And you have access to any riches you want by impressing the want that you have on the intelligence of God or the intelligence of the universal source, creator, whatever term you choose to use. You see, God is a thinking being. You are a thinking being. You are made of God. And so therefore, if you impress what you want in truth and honesty, it has been said, and it is true, it will be given to you. To master yourself is to master your mind and to create what you want based in truth. Your truth is to project that truth onto the formless, which is God, the unlimitless, which is God, to be created into form, manifested. To support you in this process, think projection. Think about projection or projecting the mental image of what you want on a white wall or a screen. That's what I call the screen of space. So to support you in this process of thinking the form and putting it out there, what you want, project it. See what you want in your mind and think about projecting it onto a white wall or a white screen. Project the house, the car, your health, your bank balance, then ask yourself, is this my truth? Is this really what I want? Can you use your imagination and put, like a house? Can you see the house in your mind's eye on a white screen? And then ask yourself, is this my truth? That is so important. The key here for chapter 4, the first principle in the science of getting rich is truly about your truth. You have to think your truth. You have to get to know you. Okay, chapter 5. Chapter 5 is, let me change this here. Chapter 5 is increasing life. The desire for less or lack, is the desire for less or lack and limitation mine? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. People, they don't tap into the fact that there is welfare for them. People think too small, and that's really true. People think too small. You need to think big. And I take into consideration sometimes you need to take baby steps to do that. But is the desire for less or lack and limitation mine? Yes, it is yours. You are a thinking being whose life is created based on your truth. If you have a poverty consciousness and you believe that is your lot in life, then so it is. It will be your lot in life. God or your chosen deity, universal intelligence, spirit, Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, your chosen God, wants to give you what it is that you are projecting on that screen of space, what you are projecting as your truth. Truth is the first principle in the science of getting rich. You have to be true to self. And be aware of this, that the universal laws of attraction states that no two things can occupy the same space. This is why you can't have what somebody else has already. And when I started the webinar, that's what I started out saying. That's one of the things that you need to remember. Space is huge in this arena. Space is absolutely huge in this arena. And when I'm talking about space, I'm talking about universal space, because universal space is there and it can be filled with something that you are asking for to be created. No two things can occupy the same space. This is why you have to think what you want for self. You have to want what you want for self. You can't think for anybody else, and nobody else can think for you. So how does life increase? Life increases. One, it's nature. It's nature. And two, we are always building on one thought after another. And as Mr. Wattles says, which is true, one thought will lead to another thought. And that thought leads to another thought. And everything that we think teaches us something. And that something becomes a fact in our lives. And facts become part of our spiritual DNA and our physical DNA. We have grown, and as a result of life and the life force within us, we have grown. As a result of thoughts within us, we have grown. And not only have we grown individually, we have grown as a collective consciousness. And you know that we grow as a collective consciousness because you have eras. You have the different eras, like when music changed from, the balladeers to pop music with the Beatles to, disco to techno. And, it's an era. It's a movement, and it's a movement because individuals are changing, and changing as a collective, it becomes a collective consciousness. When you have a knowledge base, and you increase that knowledge base, you've grown. Just like you went from being perhaps 18 inches long at birth to an adult who's 5'5", you've grown. Each inch added to the cachet of who you are. Unlike our height, our knowledge base is infinite. Again, it becomes a part of not only our physical DNA, but our spiritual DNA, our mental DNA as well, but above all, our spiritual DNA. You see, that's why you can be in a career. You can be in a career. And we go off in this direction or that direction. And you could have studied to be a doctor. That's your training. And now all of a sudden, you want to build houses, log cabin houses, instead of being a doctor that you have been trained to do. People might think you're crazy, but at the end of the day, we are always increasing life. You have outgrown that. You have outgrown being a doctor. You have outgrown that, and you want to do something else. You are always in creation, never in discreation or decreation or whatever the word is. You are always creating. Always creating. So what is real life? Real life is understanding that the desire for riches or wealth enables you to grow more and more. The intrinsic pull from within at a soul level is to want more. And to do this, with ease means you need to have money. The increase of life is building one thought on another. It's creative. If you use that creative energy to compete, you will hinder your manifestation. And again, two things cannot occupy the same space. And as it is, your chosen deity's function is to give you what you want. To give you what you want. And another way to give you what you want is for you to use and to see the benefit of a space, the benefit of recognizing that there is so much space out there in the universe that you can have what you want, that you can have what you want. It is absolutely limitless. I don't know what the deal is, but we've been taught that there are limits, but there are no limits. There are no limits to God. There are no limits on God, or none that I know of, which means that I have that potential for limitlessness too, or I have that potential because I am tapped into and a part of that which has created everything. The key here, always remember, you are in creation, not in competition. And this is huge. When you get what you want through creation, everybody around you, everybody around you, the earth, everything, every living, breathing thing benefits, because your manifestation may take several different talents for it to be accomplished. Okay, take for instance, you want a house and you've seen this really beautiful mansion and you decide you would like a beautiful mansion too. You don't want their mansion, you're happy that they have theirs. The creative process hears you and you're doing all the other things that you need to do. And so what the creative process does is somebody becomes an engineer. And even the earth, people talk about, trees shouldn't be cut down and they shouldn't be, digging quarries and all of this. You think the earth doesn't want to be in creation too? You think the earth doesn't, and the things that the earth brings forth, you think the earth just wants to be there? How much magnificent for the earth to become part of, or something that's been dug from a quarry, to be part of this beautiful mansion. So it is an expression of that which is greater than self, known to me and runs through me as God. So you see, when you are in creation, you are creating. When you are in competition, you are trying to get what somebody else has. You're trying to beat somebody out of something that they've already had. And so, no, creation is not it. Creation is not it. Chapter 6, how riches come to you. How riches come to you. Well, how do I give more than I receive? Because that's part of the book. The answer is simple. It's value. In whatever you do, you need to add value. I know, I actually know for me personally that it's who I am and how I actually now have chosen to show up in life, and have for a while. Actually, before I read this, back in the day, I used to have a staff of 52. And my thing to them was, why are you competing against each other? That energy could be used somewhere else. And that's been almost, I want to say 25, 26 years ago. That was my thought process. I'm not competing with you. We don't compete. We just create. And I've been like this, as I said, for several years. So that being said, to add value, it's really important. It's really important. And I suppose another way to reframe this, because people will say, well, how do I add value? Well, you need to make it special and authentic to the person. Now, say, for instance, you sell rugs. How can you give your customer more value? And I'm talking about authentic value, okay? Not cheesy, secondhand car salesman value. I'm talking about authentic value. How can I give my customer more value? Well, it's really important to, I suppose, put yourself in the customer's place. But I'll phrase it this way. You sell rugs. To give your customer more value than the price that they paid for the rug, you can tell them how to clean it, but not only with regular sort of carpet cleaners, but go a step beyond. Tell them how to clean it with green products that are environmentally friendly. Demonstrate what they need to go do. Do they need to go against the pile? Do they need to go with the pile? Or if there are different stains, does it need to be cleaned a different way? Let them know who the best rug cleaner is in town, and let them know that you have a relationship with that person. And if they have a problem, to let you know. Create a short video, and I mean a short video, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, showing techniques on how to clean the tassels in between professional cleaning, so it won't damage your rug, but it will definitely help it to look good. When you do things like this, you have given more than you have received. And this isn't only true of business transactions, it's in life. You can do this with yourself as well. You can do this when you meet people. And I'm not talking about being pushy. I'm talking about giving of self. You see, when you are ever increasing, you are becoming all that you want to be. When you are doing this, you can show people by what happens to you. You don't have to tell them what to do. You can show people by what happens to you. Making a choice. This is huge in how to come to your riches, how riches come to you. It's really important that you make a choice, make a choice, make a choice, make a choice. You have to make a choice. You have to make a choice about what you are wanting. You have to be authentic. You have to be truthful about this. You have to recognize that when you make a choice, it is about you, but it's also going to be bigger than you. So you have to make a choice about what you are wanting, and you have to be comfortable with that choice, even if it's outside the box of your comfort zone. How do riches come to you? Creating a mental image of what you want. You need to be able to see what you want. You need to be able to see that image so that you can believe what it is that you're having, so that you can cultivate faith. So that you can cultivate faith. Very important. We were created from a thinking vibration. A thinking vibration. And that thought process made us become physical things by slowing down the vibration, by slowing down the oscillation. We came into form. Just as you and me became the beings that we are, we too have the ability to use our thoughts and our minds to expand and to express our consciousness. Thoughts become things. Your thoughts have become things. And again, all you need to do is look around you to recognize that your thoughts have become things. So using your creating a mental image of what you want is what you do with your thoughts. Create that image using your mind. This brings us back to the first principle in the science of getting rich. It's all about doing things in a certain way. And that certain way is using your imagination to project outwardly. And this is the key, using your imagination to project outwardly what you are wanting for yourself from an inward standpoint. Your life is an inside job. Number 7, chapter 7, gratitude. Gratitude is huge. What is the function of gratitude? Now, I could go on and on about this for hours. Gratitude is huge. What is the role in the science of getting rich? What role does gratitude play? Gratitude is one of the universal laws that without actively and honestly using it, nothing you are saying you want will ever manifest. Your life will be filled with many disappointments. Nothing you have impressed upon the universal screen of space, nothing you have asked God for, nothing, or your chosen deity for, nothing will come to fruition without gratitude. Mr. Wattles says in his book, and I believe this to be true, gratitude unifies you with the mind of God harmoniously. See, the key word here, the nuance here is harmoniously, because we are always unified with the mind of God. Our mind might not be harmonious with God, but we are always unified with the mind of God. Gratitude, true and authentic gratitude, unifies you with the mind of God harmoniously. It draws you closer to capital the source, capital S, from which your abundant supply is housed. It draws you closer to God. I always say that gratitude is the natural equalizer. It levels the playing field. It takes care of things like forgiveness and anger, and it takes care of so many things in our lives. Gratitude is huge. Gratitude keeps you in creation mode and not competition mode or competitive mode. When you are truly grateful, you're not competing for what your neighbor has or what this one has, or you want to look like this one. You're not competing for that, because you are grateful and you are thankful for what you have. And you see, when you're grateful and thankful for what you have, what it does is it creates the fertile ground for you to have more, because things can build from that. When you are in gratitude, it also prevents you from choosing to be negatively influenced by what's going on around you. Whether it be a political situation, whether it be a familial situation, whether it be a work situation, a health situation, things going on around you, it prevents you from choosing to be negatively influenced. Now, according to Mr. Wattles, he laid out 3 things here. He said he was speaking of gratitude. He was talking about 1, and this is true. When you're grateful and you're in true gratitude, it's easy for you to acknowledge God or your chosen God, your chosen deity as your supply. Number 2, when you are in gratitude, it is easy to believe that God, your chosen deity, will supply or deliver what you have asked for. 3, when you can give thanks knowing that you have received that which you have asked for before you have it, gratitude allows you to stand in faith. Gratitude will allow you to become rich. The key here, gratitude in all things. You cannot be grateful for some things in your life and not others. It doesn't work like that. All things are working on your behalf, and that's a fact. Everything that has happened to you, I'm not condoning anything. Let me just say this. Anything that's been perpetrated against you, not condoning it. But all things that have happened to you are working for you on your behalf. To be grateful for what only you feel is good and not for what you feel bad interrupts your harmonious flow with God. It interrupts your harmonious flow with God. That is important. That's really, really important, because if the flow's been interrupted, it's a problem. Okay, chapter 8, thinking in a certain way. What does that mean? What does thinking in a certain way mean? It literally means that you have to be clear about what you want. You can't have you can't generalize. You can't, as he said in the book, be vague. You see, that doesn't work. How can you express something if you're vague? Even if you're talking in general to somebody, if you're trying to express yourself and you're vague, people don't understand what you're talking about. So what this means is, thinking in a certain way, you need to be clear. You have to expand upon your desire. And look, as he says in the book, I'm sure this is the chapter where he's talking about, you know, just wanting to travel, money to travel, okay. Money just to do, and I use the word just. It needs to be more than that. You need to expand upon your desire. And in order to expand upon your desire, because, you know, everybody says, you know, yeah, I'd love money to travel. The name of the game is, what does that really mean to you? What does travel really represent? Or, you know, having the house of your dreams, the big house, the flashy car, what have you, and all of this is to the highest good. What does that really mean to you? And in order to find that, for those of you who know me, you know it's all about, you need clarity. You need to dig deep or deeper. You need to engage your senses. You see, the more time you spend thinking about what you have projected into the universe, and the more you kind of tidy that up and hone it up and tune it up, the more it will up your chances of getting the manifestation. And this process should be fun, by the way. This process should be fun. Experiencing what you are wanting in your mind and you know, using your imagination. It should be fun. And this is the way of as he has here, thinking in a certain way. That's what you need to do. You need to use your imagination. You know, as he says, live in the clothes. You know, what does that make you feel like? What does that fur coat feel like? Or what does that, I don't know, diamond ring feel like? Is it kind of heavy on your hand? Is it cold, you know, on your finger? You know, do you need to get your nails done to set it off right? You know, what does it feel like? What does it feel? Use your imagination. And you continue using your imagination on the invisible until the visible shows up in tangible form. Using your imagination is about holding your faith. Holding your faith with purpose, and with purpose in your mind that which you want to come into form has come into form. Use your imagination. Live it. The key here is clarity. As I said, clarity is all about engaging your five senses. In addition to answering the question, what value will this, you fill in the blank thing, that you are wanting in your life, what value will it bring? And the second question is, how will you know that you are experiencing this thing that you value? How will you know? Chapter 9. Let's do this. And guys, where I went to, I'm going to tell you, I went to about chapter 13, and then I'll open it up for any questions that anybody has. Chapter 9. The use of the will. This one's actually really big. This is huge. This is huge. So the use of the will, the universal law of willpower, applying your will, and the key. You choose where your mental and emotional attention goes. So the universal, how to use the will. The universal law of willpower is a conscious choice that you make about focusing with pinpoint precision your attention on your intention on what you want to manifest. The will is not about making something happen. And this is where people talk about willpower, you know, use your willpower to make it happen. No. You can't make anything happen external to you. The only thing that you can truly do is use your willpower to focus on what it is that you are wanting. So it's not about making something happen. It's about focusing in on what you want to happen. That's how you use your will. It's not about how you must get it and making it happen. That's not it. It's about the pinpoint, laser precision of your attention on your intention on what it is that you want to manifest. And one of the things I would say here is, although it does require action on your part, manifesting, becoming rich, using your willpower in the right way will assist and support you in taking the right action. You can only apply your willpower to yourself. And this I say on a regular basis. You know this because if you could control other people, you would control them. You can only control yourself. You know that you cannot control people who are external to you. You cannot do it. And so therefore, you can only apply your willpower to yourself. And it should only be applied internally. Applying your willpower is an internal action to support the inner thoughts or vision of getting an external reaction. And in this instance, it's about getting a reaction from your chosen deity known to me as God. And the reaction is you want what it is that you are desiring to be manifested. Your willpower is used to keep yourself thinking in a certain way. That is what you use your willpower for. And the other thing, let me just say here, because Mr. Wattles does speak about this in his book, doubt and belief creates stillness. That he didn't, that wasn't his phrase, but that's what he was saying. It causes cross currents, I think he used. But doubt and belief creates stillness in the manifestation process because it sets up a mixed signal. It sets up, if you have 1 minus 1 plus 1 and a minus 1, you get nothing. That'll bring you to 0. So doubt and belief, if you believe but you're doubting in your belief, it creates a stillness. It's a mixed message. So the key here is you choose where your mental and emotional attention will go. You get to choose that. You see, it's all about your authentic truth, and it's all about how you choose to use that truth. It's all about you. So we have chapter 10, further use of the will. And I've got here, choose what you want to influence you, being in the present, and focus on what you want to the exclusion of all other things. You get to choose your thoughts as to how things will influence you. Bearing in mind that if you actually are inundated with I don't know, things that, people who are lack, limitation, negativity, people talking about poor me and poor us, and this is what happened to us in history, and blah, 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 blah. People talking lack and limitation. It's lack and limitation. And those sort of conditions, and they are wrong conditions in your life, create the stillness in the process of your manifestation. So you get to choose whether or not you actually click on an article pertaining to, I don't know, it's politics right now, or pertaining to this happened to this person, or blah, blah. You get to choose. You get to choose. You can use your will to focus in on the things that you want. And he's right, for me, at any rate. Don't read or partake of things that are counter or negative, and will put those negative seeds in your mind to what you want. And it's not just, you might want the big house and somebody might negatively say, you can't have it. What I mean by this is anything negative, anything that happens to you that you perceive as negative is going to influence the actual manifestation process. You can't segregate it. You can't pigeonhole it and say, well, I'm doing all the work over here, and I'm doing my gratitude work, and blah, 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 blah. But, I've got an issue with this person, and that person. And wow, did you see what the current, what you call them, people running for office are doing? I think that's really terrible, and blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You see, anything that is counter to what you are wanting to create for self, which is a harmonious relationship with God, anything is gonna create the stillness. It is conflicting information. It's conflicting information. So you get to choose what it is that you focus on. And the key here is focus on what you want to focus on, and the things that you deem to be positive to the exclusion of all other things. People roll up to you. They start, you know something, sweetheart? Today is not a good day for me to listen to what's going on for you. I've got things going on in my mind that I need to take care of. You don't need to tell them what you're doing. That's all. And people say, oh, girl, you got a problem, blah, 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 blah. Nah, it's nothing that I'm going to talk about right now. But let's talk about something else. What is the good things that have happened to you this week? And go on the track. You see, it's your life, it's your choice. You get to choose it. Okay, chapter 11. Acting in a certain way. This too is also important. Personal action is required. Being able to receive your manifestation, thought and personal action, and the key is action now. Personal action is required. It most assuredly is. It takes authentic, your true, harmonious thoughts and choice and personal action to support your manifestation process. Your authentic, true thoughts. Principle number 1, you need to be able to think the truthful thoughts for yourself, about yourself, regarding what you want for you. It takes authentic, honest thoughts, choice, and personal action to support your manifestation process. To be able to receive that which you were asking, known to me as God or whomever your chosen deity is, you have to take the necessary action. And that necessary action comes as an unfolding, as people, places, and things are galvanized and moved into your line, or into your path. There you go, that's a better word. Into your path. They come into your life with opportunities. And those opportunities actually create an exchange. And an exchange of value will take place. And this exchange of value is simply this. God, your chosen deity, will move people, places, and things so that you can have what it is that you want. That being said, for you to be acting in a certain way, you need to take action, and those actions are opportunities. These people coming to you will have something that you want, and they will have something that you want. Excuse me. They will have something that you want, and you will have something that they want. And it can be money. It can be information. You see, money is nothing but a vibration. It's an energetic stream. So there will be an energetic exchange. Your job is to be prepared. Your job is to be prepared for the opportunity that's going to come your way. And you'll know it. You'll know the opportunity when it comes, because it will be something maybe out of the blue. It will be effortless. It will also feel right. Thought and personal action. These two have to be combined. They must be combined. And they must be in alignment. They must be in accord with each other. And by that, I mean they have to be harmonious. You can't be thinking something here and do this off the wall action over there and expect your manifestation to show up over here. That's not what happens. By your thoughts, things that you want are brought to you. And by your action, you receive it. We are transmitters and we are receivers. Your thoughts transmit. your actions receive. So by your thoughts, things that you are putting out there will be brought to you by the actions that you take. Act in the now. Don't talk about the past, or you can't act on the past. You can talk about it all you want. That's a waste of energy. You can't act on the past, and you sure cannot act for tomorrow. And one of the things Mr. Wattles says, whatever action that you take, you have to take the action now. And the only time you act with forethought in mind is only if it will impact how you are going to act now. So act where you are, and that's in the present, and act on your present circumstance to get what you want. You see, if you don't actually, and he addresses this in chapter 13, if you don't actually like, say, the job that you're in, and you want another job, you're going to do your entrepreneurial thing, and you want another job. Mr. Wallace actually suggests, Mr. Wattles actually suggests that you actually act right in your job. Act in the now. If you hate your job now, don't act with hatred on that job. Act with gratitude that you do have a job. Gratitude that you can do this job. Gratitude that you know that another job is coming because you have asked, and you're doing everything that you need to do, including looking for an opportunity and acting with purpose and gratitude and faith in the job that you have. See, a lot of people miss that point. A lot of people miss that point. And that's one of the things that makes successful people, financially successful people, successful. The job that they're in. And one of the things that I say to people, you know, my clients, they'll be doing this number, whatever they're saying. And I'm like, well, do you actually intend to retire from that job? And they look at me and they're like, no. Well, if you know that, then there's no problem. There's absolutely no problem. You're going to work this and work it to the best of your ability. All the while, you're going to be looking for something else. And believe me, there's something else that has come along. When my clients have actually done this, there's something else that has come along, has far, far, far out exceeded what they have left. People are like, oh my God, how did you get that job? Well, they acted with faith and with purpose, with gratitude, and knowing that they were being all that they could be in this job, so that the universe, God, knew that they would be all that they could be in the job that was coming. So act now. And that's the key. You need to act now, not tomorrow, not yesterday, now. You are in the now. Act in the now. So efficient action. That's huge. That's actually huge. Doing what needs to be done. Small things build into large things. It should say large thing. Keys to success. Sorry, keys. Success builds success. So here we go. You need to do what needs to be done. Don't procrastinate and then try cramming everything in that you can. That's not working efficiently. Working efficiently is actually making the right time to do what you need to do, and to do it in the best way. You see, when you work efficiently, everything that you do will be a success. Everything, when you work efficiently. Doesn't mean that it might not be hard, doesn't mean that you might go through a learning curve. when you are efficient and you don't procrastinate and you don't do this and you're not distracted, you make each action a success. And again, I'm not talking about learning curves, or I'm talking about learning curves too. Don't think you'll be able to whiz through anything. That's not it. You can be efficient in the learning of something new. You can be efficient and then become proficient about it. You have the small things, the mundane things in life. Many people don't like doing what they consider, whatever that is, the small or the mundane things. But I'm here to tell you, sometimes it's the smallest things that need to be done, that we look over because it's just a small thing, that is the thing that actually creates the stillness in the flow of our manifestation. The smallest thing. You know, a little thing like you actually need stamps, but you really don't want to go to the post office. And every time you pass, you're like, oh my God, I really need to go to the post office, but I'll go. Knowing that there are cards that you want to send out, but you don't think the cards are really pressing. It's something that you thought about doing. It keeps crossing your mind, but they need to go out, you see, because it keeps crossing your mind, because the universal intelligence is speaking to the intelligence within you, telling you that, you know, you're going to send the card out, and the people who you're sending the card to, there's going to be a visitor who's visiting from Australia who's going to see that card, who's going to be interested in what you're doing. But you see, you didn't send the card out. The person came and visited and they went back on their merry little way. That was an opportunity that was not monopolized. It was an opportunity that has gone by the wayside. People say that no opportunities can be really missed. Well, I have to say that I don't agree with that. I do say that you will get other opportunities. But if you miss an opportunity, it's gone. It's missed. It's missed. And this is what I mean when I say, or this is what Mr. Wattles means when he says about doing the small things. Something as simple as that, sending out a card. As simple as that. That could change the trajectory of your life. So recognize the small things, the mundane things are impactful in the manifestation process. The key here, success builds success. Success builds success. Building blocks. Successful building blocks build more successful building blocks. Working efficiently on each action is success in itself. Doesn't matter if the action it works or not, but being efficient, working efficiently builds the energy of success. Success builds success. So here we have chapter 13, getting into the right business. Again, something I said earlier about getting into the right business. Just because the current thing is technology doesn't mean that you have to jump into it. Just because you're talented doesn't mean that you'll get rich. If you don't know what's right, if you don't know what's right for you, you can actually find out what's right for you. Everybody knows within them what they want to do. And of course, the key, doing what you love. Getting into the right business. Just because you're talented doesn't actually mean that you're going to be rich. Being rich is a system of doing things, which is why Mr. Wattles says, and he's true, people will get rich, whoever they are, if they approach life in a certain way. Because if it wasn't so, nobody would be rich or everybody would be rich. Getting rich is a system, or as he says here, a science. There's a methodology to it, and it's a methodology that works. It's a methodology that is written in scripture. It's a methodology that is written in spiritual doctrines. It's a methodology that's written in the sutras. It's written in the Torah. It's written in the Quran. It's written everywhere. This is time-old information. You see, just because you're able to sing doesn't mean that you're going to get rich. It's the steps that you do. It's how you use the tools, the talents that you have, and the tools to bolster those talents. The other thing is, to get into the right business, you need to actually work on what feels good, or work out what feels good to you. You need to work on things that you desire. You see, if you don't like what you're doing, you're not going to make money at it. If you don't like what you're doing, it sets up that stillness, or as Mr. Wattles calls it, that cross current. It creates stagnation. It stops the flow. So for you, if you don't know what the right thing is for you to do, spend, as he says, and this is something I did the other day, spend a couple of days just giving thanks for everything that you have. And you'll be surprised, in addition to asking, what is it that I am wanting to do? Asking self, you'll be surprised the information and the message that comes back to you. So getting into the right business isn't hard. It's just taking time to know you. The other thing is, what do you love to do? What do you love to do? This is paramount. What do you love to do? And that's the key. Doing what you love to do. That is the right business. Then using the tools to hone that business. That is where you need to be. Totally and utterly where you need to be. Chapter 14, the impressions of increase. And I put here, the desire for increase is natural life. The desire for increase in natural life is always increasing. Life is always increasing and expanding. In the same way, at the beginning there, we spoke about, you went from perhaps 18 inches at birth to however tall you are now. Life is always increasing. You put a seed in the ground and it grows, it increases, it grows on itself, it builds on itself, it gets the roots, the whole 9 yards. Life, by nature of what it is, naturally increases, and you are wanting to increase your life, learning more, experiencing more, having more, doing more, being more, showing up, being who you want to be. And in order to do that, you need money. You need money. And it doesn't matter if the currency is goats, cows, chicken. It doesn't matter if it's rice, wheat, corn. Doesn't matter if it's gold or silver. Doesn't matter if it's pounds and pence, dollars and cents, guilders or rupees or pesos. Doesn't matter. You need this currency so that you can be in the flow, the natural flow of life, which is always increasing. It is always increasing. Chapter 15, the advancing man, the same thing. Man is always looking to advance. Always looking to advance. Man is always looking to expand upon his conscious awareness and cannot help himself. Cannot help himself. Man cannot help himself in that. So guys, for the rest of the chapters, chapter 16, some cautions and conclusions and observations. On that actual slide, I put to actually reread that chapter. And the same for chapter 17. It just gives a summary of the science of getting rich to reread